If you're a fan of mythical fantasy adventures, then I have a game for you to add to your watch list. What's up everyone, it's Ridehouse, and today I'm taking a look at Asterigos. Asterigos is an upcoming third-person mythical action RPG from new Taiwanese indie developer Acme Gamestudio. There has only been an announcement trailer and a few weapon demos released so far, as well as an animation reel for some of the game's enemies, but I spent some time digging around and I have managed to find a little more information, mainly surrounding the lore of the world and some of the combat mechanics. Translations are a little iffy in places, so I'll summarise for ease, but I will leave some links down below if you want to take a look for yourself. This is the first title from Acme Gamestudio, and from the trailer footage, everything seems pretty solid so far. There's nothing groundbreaking that really catches my attention, but from what I'm seeing, it looks like it's shaping up to be a nice little adventure. You will take on the role of Hilda, a brave Northwind Legion warrior, who are a group of elite warriors that are masters in both weapons and magic. She sets out on a journey to find her long-lost father, and enters the mythical cursed city of Athis, which is inspired by classical Greek architecture and ancient Rome. She will learn about the rise and fall of this great city, and witness history in the making as she faces difficult choices that will shape the entire kingdom's fate. We get a little look at some of the lost city of Athis in the trailer, and there are market streets, dark dungeon-esque hallways, some sort of shantytown, statue-lined bridges, and the interior of a palace or temple of some sort. It all looks very nice, though fairly linear, and we will have to wait and see if there will be more open environments in the game. I did find this level design art that hints at some semi-open areas that can be explored within each region of the city, and there are a couple of secret passageways marked that will give some variety in ways to get about each level. They're building some nice lore for this game, and if you head over to their Twitter, you can find a lot of extra info. They have a series of posts that tell you the origin of the world and the Ephesians, the people that lived in the city of Athis. The legend goes that the world was born of earth and stardust, and was surrounded by darkness. After a series of chaotic happenings, a powerful god called the One was born. She brought life to the world and held back the darkness. She made the sun and the moon, and she stirred the stars to create the chosen people, the Ephesians. It's all very fairy tale fantasy, and the story goes on, but I won't read out the whole thing here or this video will be super long, but I do recommend you head over to their Twitter and check it out if you're interested in learning more about the lore. I personally enjoy it when developers take the time to create such dense lore, as it shows that they really care about the world that they're creating. It gives a lot more depth to the game, and you can usually feel it in the gameplay too, as there's a story linked to each place, rather than just being a series of levels that you have to pass through. They've given us a glimpse at some of the creatures we will be fighting, and there's a nice variety of types including beastmen like werewolves, minotaurs, birdmen, and some sort of rat wizard. There are also some more human, ogre-y type people to fight as well. Again, there is more info over on Twitter, along with some hints at different mechanics that will be applied to the different varieties. For example, there are the hangers that use sound to hunt their prey. They have hard, rock-like shells, big claws, and they scuttle around on the ceiling. They will jump down and surprise unsuspecting adventurers. From this, it sounds as though there might be a stealth element attached, where if you sneak past, you might be able to get away with not fighting if they don't hear you. Another example are the flaming Inferno Hounds, that I think look pretty cool. They say they can usually be found sleeping on roads, and they radiate a heat that makes them unapproachable. You can use ice magic to wake them up, and must defeat them before they wreak havoc on the surroundings. From all this, it sounds as though we can expect a nice amount of variation in the mechanics of the game, with puzzles to solve not only in the world, but also when it comes to working out how best to deal with each of the different monsters. It all sounds pretty good, I just hope that it doesn't all become too gimmicky. The information I could find on the combat actually sounds quite interesting. There will be 6 different weapon types: the sword and shield, the daggers, the spear, the hammer, the staff, and the bracelets, which are a melee magic weapon that looks pretty fun to play. You can choose 2 of these weapons to use at any given time, and just like we see in New World, you'll be able to switch between them mid-combat. Each weapon has different skills and techniques attached that you'll be able to obtain as you progress your character, and these will use a system of stamina points to unleash. It all sounds very customizable, and there should be some fun combos to discover as you play around with the different combinations of weapons. A couple examples of the weapon skill system would be that the spear can parry attacks and then counter with an extra powerful blow that can knock enemies to the ground. The spear also has a skill called Revenge Storm that lets you spin your spear to destroy projectiles and finishes with a big blast attack. The damage of the blast is determined by how many projectiles you destroyed while spinning. In comparison to this, the daggers are more heavily focused on maneuverability. They make you faster and will change the way you evade attacks by giving you a sliding dodge that lets you zip around the battlefield. The daggers also have a skill called Blade Dance that lets you spin around in a whirlwind and slash all enemies in your path. I think it all sounds quite fun, and it will be interesting to find out more about just how extensive this system will be, and how much it's affected by this so-called character progression, which I couldn't actually find any more information about, so for now all we can do is wait and see what they have in store for us. Overall, Asterigos looks like it's shaping up to be a fun little adventure. They're taking particular care with the world and the lore, so the story should have some nice depth to it, and not just feel like surface dressing. There's also some nice mechanics attached to each of the monster types that should give combat some nice variation. And speaking of combat, the weapons and skill system should allow for a good level of customization in terms of playstyles, which should also give the game a nice amount of replay value. There's no set release date yet for Asterigos as they're still early in development, but they have attached a rough release window of late spring 2022. The game is set to be released for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and the PC. That's just about all I have on Asterigos at the moment. I hope you enjoyed the video, please give it a like if you did, and as always let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all from me on this one, see you in the next one.